Okay. I'm finding out how honest you are, Charlie, and right, so far I think you're doing good, and I hope I'm doing good with you. Because if we don't have the honesty, we can't really,
Look, but to be fair to the whole, topic in general, the outrage around deportations, as we've seen, these last couple of weeks, is like the American people voted for it. It's perfectly legal.
Well, they didn't vote for.
They did vote for mass deportations.
People without any. I mean,
so you mean that Maryland case is what you're talking about, right?
The guy the said,
MS-13 member.
Well, there's no evidence that they did not present evidence. I mean, I don't really want to get into the weeds on this one because I got to do it on my show Friday.
So this is pretty interesting. Bill Maher had Charlie Kirk on his Club Random podcast. Ooh. Not exactly the smartest timing on Bill Maher's part. He's already pissed people off by having dinner with Trump, and now he's having Charlie Kirk on? I already know people on the left already spurging out about this. Let's see if this is a productive conversation. Let's see how Charlie Kirk does on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast.
Completely different things. It was the theme of my last stand-up special that I just did a few months ago. And it's basically...
Wait, Bill Maher had a stand-up special? News to me. Bill Maher's a stand-up comedian?
Oh, I mean, it wasn't the whole special, of course, but it was a large part of it devoted to that, to proving that case that, what liberals believe, woke is something completely different. It's very often the opposite of it. Liberalism is, let's live in a colorblind society. That's the goal. Woke's goal is, we see race everywhere.
Race obsession.
Yes. Okay. So that's not liberal. You changed. Liberal is, there are two-state solution. Woke is river to the sea. Okay? So just don't take my word and say you're that. You took this and took it to, you got off the F train, you fell asleep, and you got off the 20 stops too far, and don't blame me for that. Drink?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
You don't drink?
No.
Or smoke pot?
No.
And you're married and super Christian. We're going to get along great.
This is going to just be perfect.
But can I just ask you, because I want to find out a lot about you, because you're obviously a super bright guy, but you do think that I have the right to live completely opposite than you do.
I think you can get as drunk as you'd like. And
you're that kind of an American, right? You're not forcing your opinions as.
Man, a lot of people, like when they're talking to Christians, it's like, you're not trying to force your beliefs on me, are you? You're not one of them Christians that can force you. You're not going to slap this shot glass out of my hand and say, don't drink, are you? Like, they don't understand the concept is that we think we just have a better way of living. And I don't mean better as in, oh, we're better than you. Oh, do you even Christian, bro? Oh. We mean just like a healthier way, like for your soul, like for your inner peace. Like, we just believe we have a healthier way of living. But that doesn't mean that we're going to try to control people and force them to live a certain way. Or we say, you probably shouldn't do that. Think of it as like a health guru saying, yeah, you probably shouldn't eat fast food all day. It's probably not healthy for you. You wouldn't tell that health guru, you're trying to force me to eat salads? It's like, no. We just think that living the other way is not healthy.
Here to say you can't. What are you talking about?
No, okay. So you think pot should be legal?
That's a complicated. I have a very unpopular view on pot. Can I tell you my case on pot?
Please do.
It's not the depression that it might be causing or the fact that it might be hurting kids' brains. It's the smell. It's the stench that drives me crazy.
Yeah, it's not hurting their brains. I mean, kids shouldn't do it. Of course, kids shouldn't. It definitely didn't hurt my brain.
But let me ask, do you think that more...
it absolutely hurts your brain. Just saying.
More teenagers are doing pot today, or that before legalization or after legalization?
You know what?
Do you think usage rates are going up or down? I don't know the answer.
Oh, you'll be fascinated by this because, I'm not married, so I go out. So sometimes I'm out with like people who are a great deal younger than me. I don't know how they get in my group, but they do. And so I've been to sometimes parties like the Hollywood parties. And this is probably not most of America exactly this way, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's that different. And first of all, in this town, it's all run by like the Nepo babies. The Nepo babies, the trust fund kids, is all these little 22-year-old
The J.B. Pritzker types.
Well,
I'm kidding.
no. I'm sure. I know who you mean. The governor of Illinois.
He inherited the Hyatt
Oh,
fortune,
sure.
you know,
Well,
the Nepo
come on.
baby. I mean, come on.
We invented Nepo baby out
Well,
here. Okay,
come on.
but yes, it's everywhere now, even on the Lakers.
Hey, that's real privilege there. You know, you got some privilege if you can get.
Well, okay. I don't want. I don't want LeBron mad at me like he is at my friend Stephen A. But I mean, that is, you know. But the point is that when you go out to these, I've been to these parties where like it's a bunch of 22-year-old kids, and none of them are smoking pot. Why? They're on real drugs. Pot's so like my generation. It's like I couldn't find pot at one of these parties. I was the only. They were asking me for it. The few kids who want it, they take this. They've
Like
got
psychedelics or
correct.
mushrooms, LSD.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, ketamine, whatever.
Oh, ketamine. That has some medicinal
Molly,
property, but not at a party. I
They're
mean,
all. It's all ingested before they even leave the house. So that's where the good news, parents, your kids aren't on pot.
Yeah, but they're on
way worse, I think.
They're on a big trip. So, but do you think that since we've legalized, less teenagers are doing, like 13, 14, 15-year-olds? Because that was always the argument, right? If we legalize it, less kids would do it.
I don't know what 14-year-olds are doing.
No, I don't know the answer.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
But we
I
can
really
agree
don't.
that kids should. That's how we can
Oh,
agree on it.
totally.
Yeah.
But we also should be able to agree that we shouldn't force adults to organize their lives around what kids might get into.
That's a good argument. I mean, do you think that it's...
I mean, you're not against porn, are you?
Well, actually...
Gosh, dude, what's with these atheists? Like these people and their freaking, oh, you're not against porn, are you? Oh, you shouldn't force me to do this. Like, it's the same talking points. Oh, my coomerism. Oh, my marijuana. So annoying. I want to see Andrew Wilson go on Club Random, to be honest.
Struggled with porn. Thankfully, I'm free of that. But I mean...
How can you struggle with it?
I mean...
It's so easy.
Well, you could grow addicted to it. I mean, it can...
I know. I was kidding.
No, but no, I mean, yeah, I don't have that issue anymore, thankfully. But I would ask the question, though, like, do you think since the legalization of marijuana in LA, it's made it a better or worse place to live? Or just it hasn't changed at all?
It certainly hasn't changed my life.
Okay.
I grew up right outside here.
Do you think the quality of life has gone up or down?
Well, I don't know, but that's not really the relevant question, is it? Even if there is a deleterious effect, there is too many things we do, and we would not use that as a reason to prescribe our basic freedoms.
Should people, be able to do drugs
should people
outside, like on the street, or?
No, definitely not on the street.
Okay, so there are some limits.
Of course, there
okay.
are limits.
Yeah.
Yes, and maybe of certain drugs, or certain drugs should be by prescription, as we do with pharmaceutical drugs. You know, but certainly pot is more benign than alcohol. I mean, I could give you the stats on that. We all know that. Is it health food? No, I'm not crazy like some of my hippie friends are, trying to portray it as something that's actually good for your lungs. But I don't think it's a trade-off. When you're an adult, you have the right to make trade-offs. Trade-offs is the essence of life. I'm going to have this piece of cake tonight and be a little fatter tomorrow, or I'm not going to do that and feel better tomorrow. And we all make those choices on a daily basis with everything. Yes, have I probably cut off some years of my life, maybe with pot? Who knows? I may have increased them because it helped me. Certainly made me richer. It made me better at my job, better at writing, better at a lot of things I like to do. So,
Yeah, I'm pressing X to doubt. I highly doubt it made him better at anything.
I'd be living in a 2-bedroom apartment in Van Nuys if it wasn't for pot, and I'm probably going to live longer here.
Or who knows how successful you could have been without it.
That's true too. That is true too.
Do you think there's any merit to the argument that the pot has more THC and is more intense than it was 30, 40 years ago?
It's so hard.
I don't know. I hear these things and...
Oh, I hear those things too, and I'm sure that's true because once it became as commercialized as it has, of course you're going to try to maximize the potency of it. Just because the customer comes back, just like a restaurant, is not interested in your health. They're interested in making the food
selling more product,
delicious as they can.
and addictive,
so you
yeah.
come back to that restaurant. So, but it's so hard for me to tell you because I've been smoking for 50 years and I'm different. Who knows what I was thinking? I mean, I remember when I first smoked, we would just sit in the car and laugh at nothing for an hour. That doesn't happen anymore. So my guess is the pot is stronger, but my resistance is weaker.
Okay.
Anyway, it's, people think I'm some sort of giant pothead. I've always been very circumspect about my pot smoking. I mean, I don't smoke every day. The most I smoke is right here, once a week. I like to be in party mode when I'm with someone I'm getting to know. This is one of the joys of my life. And, I understand that it doesn't connect with some people or make some people paranoid or something, but other people, it's just, some people like a scotch and some people like blah, 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 and some people like complete sobriety. If that's your thing, that's fine. But to me, the most interesting place I can ever travel is inside my own mind. And drugs do help you get there.
Do you think all hard drugs should be illegal? Like heroin?
Illegal? No. I mean, well, heroin, is there any uses for it? I mean...
Like for what San Francisco did, they pseudo-legalized it, right? I mean, they said, hey, we're going to make it easier for you to do heroin.
No, we shouldn't make it easier. That's crazy.
Where they had drug injection sites, basically, right?
That's so sad.
No, I know, but that was a public policy position
that-
of Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco.
That's the low-lying fruit for you right-wing.
No, that's a question.
No, but isn't it?
I want to create...
It's the low-lying fruit. It's like no...
Sure, it's a...
Right.
It's a boundary. I want to create a boundary.
And you're right. I mean, again, I'm for picking that fruit too. It's silly to help drug addicts be drug addicts and keep them on the street. It's stupid to keep homeless on the street.
Oh, I totally agree.
There's another way. Liberals are different than the woke. The liberal thing forever was, for compassion's sake, get them off the street. That's not the woke version. Their version is they're an endangered species. Don't touch them in their natural habitat, living under a bridge.
Let them defecate. Let them do whatever they want.
It's their thing. And, there should be nothing more basic than a government claiming the streets. The streets are for the citizens. Then it's not to live in. Build a barracks. I mean, why are these things, maybe you can answer, why are these kind of things so difficult? You think, such common sense. Build a fucking barracks. I know homeless people say they don't want to live there. You don't have a choice. Oh, we'll get robbed there. Hire security. It's pennies on the dollar. Why is it so difficult? I feel like I, with no real knowledge of this field, could do it. If I had people who would carry out I would say, okay, get me specs. I want to see where a place we could build it. I want to see what the barracks looks like. I want to see who works there. Is it really in the toilets? Whatever. And somebody must be Mitt Romney, somebody who did the Olympics, somebody who could come in and
we know how to clean up the streets. I mean, Gavin Newsom cleaned up the streets of San Francisco when Xi Jinping showed up. I mean, it's just an act of the will. They don't want to do it.
Right, like when they get the whores off the street, when the mayor is like doing one of those cleanup.
Or like when the MLB All-Star Game goes to Seattle, all of a sudden it's America's cleanest city.
Right. So you're saying you can do it that one day.
Well, I'm saying it's an act of the will. It's all that it is. And look, woke, I won't even say left, woke philosophy is they don't really believe in private property. And at its core, why shouldn't someone be able to defecate on the side of the street? Who are you to judge?
Well, that's not woke, yes, maybe.
I'm saying woke, not even liberal.
Right.
I'm making that distinction, which I think is a fair distinction.
That's another reason. Another one we can add to the list of woke is not liberal.
I think left versus liberal or woke versus liberal is an important distinction.
Right.
I will say what makes you different is few liberals stand up to the woke. And few liberals are willing to stand up to woke.
Absolutely. And few conservatives stand up to Trump.
Fair enough. I mean, you can stand up or disagree, but I guess you could say the question, is Trump, woke is an ideology. Is Trump an ideology? I mean, he's a person. MAGA is an ideology. But I mean, I disagree with Trump on a lot of stuff. Good. I mean, I don't think we should go to war with Iran. I think that'd be a big mistake. Also, when you get to, we're going to send homegrown American citizens to foreign prisons. Oh, so the thing he said, you mean? Homegrown. To Bukele. Americans. No, and if he were to do that, I wouldn't support it. Great. But I think that is a one-liner that he gave to Bukele. I think that is, you met the man. Yes. Do you think he actually believes that? Like he would do that?
It's worse if he does or would. It's still horrible that an American president would say that. Look me in the eye and tell me if Obama had said that, what your reaction would be.
Wouldn't like it.
Wouldn't like it. I think it would be a little more vitriolic than that.
We'd be upset.
Apoplectic.
So it's always the whataboutisms. Again, Obama and Joe Biden, I could point to things that they said that I find horrible that Bill Maher and all these other lefties didn't call them out about or say, oh, and stand up and act all outraged about it. But when Trump says something, oh my God, that's horrible, that's deplorable. Bill Maher still not cured of his TDS, I see. That's such a shame. So even confronting his fear, his phobia, it did nothing for him.
Okay. I'm finding out how honest you are, Charlie. And
Right.
so far, I think you're doing good. And I hope I'm doing good with you. Because if we don't have the honesty, we can't really,
Look, but to be fair to the whole, topic in general, the outrage around deportations, as we've seen, these last couple of weeks, is like the American people voted for it. It's perfectly legal.
Well, they didn't vote for.
They did vote for mass
disappearing
deportations.
people
So-
without any. I mean,
So you mean that Maryland case is what you're talking about, right?
the guy who they
The
said,
MS-13 member?
well, there's no evidence that they did not present evidence. I mean, I don't really want to get into the weeds on this one because I got to do it on my show Friday, but the Supreme Court, I guess we have to get into the weeds.
There's
it's-
even new
it's a-
evidence in the last couple of hours that I don't. You lead the conversation. You tell me how deep you want to go on it.
None.
Okay.
I mean, but I hope that if it comes to light, let me button it up this way. I hope that if it does come to light, that there really is no evidence that this guy was a gang member, that he got swept up, which is very understandable. That when you do a sweep, when you're doing big things, yes, nothing is going to go perfect. But if it does come to light, I would hope that some Republicans have the spine to say, yeah, that's not right. This guy should not be there. I mean, the Bill of Rights, it's pretty clear that you can't just disappear people without any sort of trial.
Well, but sorry to interrupt.
And deportation is not the same thing as sending someone to a prison.
But you are allowed to deport under the Alien Enemies Act.
Correct.
Someone who is part of a recognized terrorist organization, which
Well,
MS-13 is
Okay.
pretty close to a terrorist organization.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, you're bending all these
And
words.
he's not an American citizen. We got to acknowledge
Correct.
that.
No,
right?
absolutely not.
So that's important.
But he wasn't here illegally
No,
either.
he was.
Illegally.
Yeah, the Maryland man. As long as we're not talking about two different cases.
We're talking about Garcia.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was an illegal immigrant to the country.
I thought he was waiting for asylum.
Well, you could be illegal waiting for asylum.
I see. So so they could deport him. That's right.
Yes.
But we never did it. But to a prison.
It's an
Why?
edge case. I acknowledge it's on the edge.
Okay.
but-
Good.
No, but the edge is, so there's three ways you can deport people. It could be the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. It can be
Used only 3 times.
That's fine, but hey, look,
And
you quote the First Amendment all the time. That's from 1787, right? So old things are important. No, I'm just saying,
that's
old.
been used. That's been used more than 3 times.
fair enough. But just because things are old doesn't mean, and I'm not saying
No.
you're using
No,
that talking
I
point,
get-
but some
I-
people are trying to invalidate it just because it's old.
Well,
It's also expedited release.
they're trying to invalidate it because it doesn't really apply to this. That it's stretching.
I mean,
it.
how is MS-13
But-
not a terrorist organization?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, you can make
or
that.
Tren de Aragua. I mean,
Well, I
They're
mean,
organized, they have
because
funding.
because terrorism really is a political movement. It means terrorizing the civilian population to achieve a political goal. these guys just want to grab your locket. You know, this is
It's a little more than that, though.
Oh, yeah, a lot more than that. Look, I've said that all this stuff I don't like about Trump. I did it in my piece the other week when I was talking about the meeting at the White House. That no, he was tweeting about me. I've never liked anything. No, check the tape. There are things I like, and one thing I liked was that the police have their morale back maybe now. And you know, when you live in a city, it's not a good thing when the police lose their morale because they feel like they've been painted with a broad brush, which they were after 2020, you know, and they're like, okay, yeah, and I've been very critical of the cops when I think they did bad things, but do I think it's a racist, you know, attack squad? It's not. There's issues. There's always issues in everything.
In big organizations.
And, you know, when you insult the cops, they have a way of kind of brooding about it. And it's just not a good place to be when you're a city dweller. And so, you know, I don't want to be killed by a gang member because they do random killings, you know, just as gang initiation so they can get the fucking teardrop under their eye. Mm-hmm. Okay, I don't want to be someone's teardrop tattoo, you know, rando out to dinner. So I get it. You know, I mean, these are the things that lost the Democrats the election.
100%.
You know, you got to take care of this shit.
And there's real Americans that die. I mean, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley. There's real, I mean, Jocelyn.
Well, probably not at greater rates than are killed by regular Americans.
That's debated, but let's just put that aside. They shouldn't be here. And so none of those murders should have happened, right?
Right.
And so, anyway, back to the core question. Does the president have the ability to remove illegals that have come here under an enemy gang? Of course he does. Yeah, he has the power given to him by that law.
Hey, do you want a little more random?
Hey, you want a little bit more random? Yeah, listen, Bill Maher, again, TDS showing, because at the end of the day, he agrees. He agrees, like, yes, I don't want gang members here. I don't want to be a victim of a gang. Okay, great. So then you should have no problem with deporting these people. No problem whatsoever. What's the big stink about then? I think we could all raise our hand and agree we don't want to get killed by MS-13s, right? So what's the big stink if you want to get them out of here? And in terms of Garcia, I mean, it's pretty much like it's all the evidence. Like, Trump just dropped a hammer of evidence where it shows his knuckle tattoos, which is MS-13. I mean, listen, he's hung out with MS-13 gang members. He has MS-13 tattoos on his hands. He was suspected of possibly human trafficking. His wife has taken out restraining orders against him for domestic abuse, alleged domestic abuse. I mean, all signs point to, yeah, he's probably MS-13. Even when that one Democrat dude, freaking, I don't know who he is, the mayor, I don't know if he was the mayor or something from Maryland, he went to go visit him, and he even said, like, I didn't ask him if he was MS-13 or not. Well, why not? If you're so sure he's not, and this is just a Maryland man that got shipped out by mistake, why wouldn't you ask him? But he said he didn't. It's almost as if he was afraid of his answer. Like, come on, guys, give it up. This dude is most likely MS-13. All evidence points to, yeah, give it up. You guys look like dummies because you guys are so anti-Trump that you go with whatever narrative comes out in the media and you guys buy into it. You die on that hill, and then it turns out, oh, maybe I shouldn't have died on this hill. Maybe I shouldn't be such a fucking dummy.
What's your background? I'm going to have to, like, Larry King this. You know what? Like, Larry King used to just famously, and I love Larry. I did a show a billion times.
He was a legend.
Yeah.
I never met him.
And his thing was like, I don't prepare. I'm like the regular guy who just wants to know. He's curious about this person, so I don't know. So I ask the questions that this person would ask. Mm-hmm. You, Charlie Kirk, you're 31 years old. You're Jewish, right? No.
Yeah, that's Muslim, actually.
You're married?
Yes, sir.
How long have you been married?
It will be 4 years in May.
Wow. And kids?
2 kids, yeah.
2 kids already?
Yeah. Well, we got to work.
Now, Charlie, it shouldn't be work. That's all I'm going to say. I'm kidding. I know.
It's an enjoyable work.
It's Okay.
We got to the fun, I should say.
And and you're going to have more?
God willing. Yeah.
God willing. Right. Right. And we don't see eye to eye on the religion thing.
You know,
But
someone told me that.
I got to tell you, you should see my movie, Religion.
I actually saw it.
Oh, really?
And to your credit,
Thank you.
what you did on Islam was awesome.
The other one's not so much. That's
Correct.
not funny. That's
Secondly, so if you just isolate the Islamic part.
But it was funny. Come on.
Secondly,
Jesus.
to your credit, you treated woke like a religion,
Yes.
and you criticized them with the same
Yeah.
intensity and ferocity
yeah.
you did, and you deserve a lot of credit for
Oh,
that.
thank you. I
No, I mean
appreciate
that because you looked at it as this has a
Right.
catechism, it has religious type
Totally.
undercurrents, it has almost a metaphysical presence to itself, and so you're an equal opportunity
Well,
critic.
I mean, yeah. And it's funny because the director of Religulous, Larry Charles, and I had dinner about a year ago, and I suggested, and of course it went nowhere because we're both too old to like really act on it. But I said, people keep asking me, and I'm sure him also, to do Religulous too. But when they say it, they think we're going to, now we're going to go to India and make fun of the Hindus. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not going to India, and the Hindus aren't that funny. Okay, we did it. The movie did great, and we love that it stands the test of time, and people always keep coming up to me and seeing it. Movies are amazing that way. But I said, somebody gave me a great idea. Why don't we do Religulous too? But the religion is wokeness.
Oh.
And then that's what I was suggested. And I said, yeah, but then you're going to have to do the right side of it too, because that's also a religion. Christian nationalism. I mean, come on, your boys, some of the people I think you're fond of, they mix religion and politics in a way that I think is not according to the Constitution. But I have to tell you, I'll give you a lot of credit. I saw a video of yours where you were talking about how Christy the original documents were, which is, I mean, my view is that the founding fathers, we know a number of them were deists, mostly that was their religion, but you did, and you have your facts down. I mean, you can spiel when you get on a subject like this.
I got the shtick down.
You really do. And I trust you, I'm going by but that they were a little Christier than I thought, and I'm always happy to learn new information. And if it doesn't satisfy people that I don't stay exactly where I am, it satisfies the people who are actually my fans, who always want me to do that, to be like, oh, if I take in new information. I mean, that's why, the far left hates me because I went to the White House and said, well, privately, Trump's different.
And good for you for saying that.
And I didn't give an inch on anything I believe. I confronted him on things that I think, he probably maybe never hears from anybody else, but that's not good enough for them because, they had to. But no, if you take in new information, just tell me. And so I do think after listening to your spiel that, yes, they were a little more into Jesus than I thought. I mean, I know Jefferson wrote that Bible and
He heavily edited it.
Took all the miracles out. He took all the religiosity out of it and just made him
a moral teacher,
a moral philosopher.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you have to admit, that's not exactly the act of a Christy person.
No, but at least he acknowledged that there was something profound there. Got to give him credit for that.
I could even acknowledge that.
Okay, that's good. No, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Jesus as a philosopher was a true revolutionary. I mean, when he said the meek shall inherit the earth, I think the response was...
Blessed are the peacemakers. Right.
Yeah, but the idea that it gets good in the next life was fairly, I think, revolutionary. And the fact that, if you're a good person in this life, there's a much greater... This is just the pregame. You want the after party. The after party is just going to be fucking awesome. You're up there with me and my dad, God, and it's just,
What do you think would create a better society or better action? People that think that there is an afterlife based on how you act, or people that think there isn't one?
That's a great question because it certainly can turn people either way. It can make you fly planes into a building. I'm not speaking of any specific example.
I can't think of anything.
I can't either. But it can make you do that. You'll admit that.
Sure.
Okay.
It could also make you do, blow up Oklahoma City too.
Yes. And it can also,
fully acknowledge.
and I fully acknowledge that it also keeps millions of people in line.
I don't think it could make you do all these things, much in the same way as a gun can't make you go and like shoot up a school or something like that. The gun doesn't do it. Or if you use science or something to make a bomb, create a homemade bomb, and then go blow up a building, the science didn't make you do that. I mean, I think overall the Bible and Christianity obviously is a good thing. You know, Christianity number one, but do I think it could make you do bad things? No.
Like Mark Wahlberg. I'm guessing without Catholicism, he just looks like a guy who'd be in a lot more trouble. But I think it just has made his life, you know, much more under control. So there's one. Mark Wahlberg, I think, really benefits from Catholicism. But I think there's lots of people like that. They truly are worried that if they do something out of line, illegal or immoral, that the devil will, in short order after they die, be poking them in the ass with a pitchfork, and so they don't do that. And I got to give it up. That is a positive.
Are you at all worried that when a nation becomes too secular, it might not know what it believes? There's no cultural cohesion. There's no glue that keeps it together.
Yeah, but this isn't that nation. This isn't secular. This is a bunch of fucking religious freaks.
Increasingly secular, though.
Well, thank you. I'm trying.
No, but
I appreciate it.
You are quite the evangelist for your cause of no afterlife and no creator.
You know what? It creeps up a little, but people always are going to want it. People always are going to want to believe a story. It's much better than the truth, which is that things are random. We don't know the big questions. We don't know how we got here. We don't know why we're here. We don't know how the universe started. We're alone in the universe. You know, is there a God? What is the nature of God? Which one is the right God? We just don't. Nobody knows. I mean, that's why they call it faith.
Do you hope you're wrong? That's the most important question.
That's a great question. Well, how
do you hope there's a heaven?
I hope they figure out how I can live forever.
I think Bill Maher hopes he's correct, because if he's wrong and he's committing all these sins, yeah, I don't think it'll be too good for Bill Maher in the afterlife. But I mean, who knows? I mean, listen, I'm not God. It's not up to me to judge. I'm just saying that if you live your life thinking that there is no afterlife, I mean, what's to motivate you then to be a good person?
I can hear with you, Charlie, drinking this and smoking pot.
Fiji,
I'm having a great time. I really can't imagine it better. I mean, I can't. And maybe it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure, people have...
But something in you probably hopes that, I don't know,
yes,
Hitler gets ultimate judgment, or the most evil things, right? Something in you wants to see your loved ones, and
I don't think about Hitler.
No, but there's got to be a desire somewhere.
A lot of people just think about Hitler a lot.
Stalin, Mao.
I know, but I'm just saying Hitler comes up a lot.
He really fair enough. Let's that there's a desire that there's something beyond this.
Well,
that is just.
Okay. Yes, I do, but I mean, it's very hard to find that justice on earth. Ask an AIDS baby.
Oh, don't, Bill. That's why when you say, "Hey, I'm happy here," there's a lot of suffering on earth too, and that's the.
It is,
that's the Christian argument,
and
right?
some of it is we obviously can see it comes from no bad deed done. Children with cancer.
Of course, it's.
And then they say, well, that's God works in mysterious ways, which is sort of a get out of jail card.
It's the
for
hardest,
any kind of non-thinking.
Admittedly, it's the hardest. We as Christians have to explain unjust suffering. Atheists have to explain everything else.
How do you explain it?
We don't. It's hard. It's a mystery. We can say God works in mysterious ways. We can say original sin. However, we don't have to explain creation or the miracle of life or love or justice or.
We don't have to explain it either, because it's not explainable, because we don't know. We say we don't know. That's honest. You say, no, somebody told a story a long time ago, and we're going to stick with that. That to me, I'm not trying to be insulting.
You can't offend me, trust me.
Great.
I mean that. So you could be as crude or as blunt.
Okay,
I mean that. It's not.
But I find that intellectually.
Yeah, a lot of the pompous atheists, they always go, well, someone because someone told the story, like, way to like minimalize the Bible, like way to downplay the Bible, something that's lasted like for thousands of years with its morals and ethics that still hold up today. And you just, downplay it and minimize it. Like, just someone just told the story randomly. In my opinion, if you're an atheist and you have to do that, if you have to minimize the importance of the Bible, it's more telling about your viewpoint, that it's really like you're just in some kind of denialism. Like, it's like seeing like a kid, like a teenager or something, that's telling their parents, like rebelling against their parents, saying, I don't gotta listen to you. I mean, to me personally, that's how you come off as. Like, I don't need to listen to you. I just need to do what makes me happy. And, we try to explain things to you. We try to talk to you, and you just are in this like temper tantrum mode. Like, no, like this wiggly mode where it's like, no, you can't tell me what to do. Like, I respect the atheists more, the ones that are like, listen, I don't personally believe there's a God, but I can acknowledge that the Bible is important and that Christian ethics, I would rather much live in a Christian ethics society than a atheist society. Like, I'm much more respectful to that because at least you acknowledge the importance of it. You're not trying to be some kind of wiener that has to be too cool for school. You know what I mean? That thinks you're too good to listen to the Bible. Like, yeah, Bill Maher knows more than the Bible or God. Yeah, we should all turn to Bill Maher.
That we don't know. That is not a definitive.
Okay,
It
so
really is not.
like take Paul. We both agree Paul was legit and a real person. Paul was a Jew, persecuted Jews, and then had his, road to Damascus moment. Why would he do that? Except for the fact that he's crazy or like delusional.
But what did you guys think about this conversation? Link to the full videos down in the description below. Give this video a like if you liked it. Leave a comment giving your thoughts if you have any. And if you really like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. You will really be helping me out a lot. I got more content on my channel very similar to this. I got more Bill Maher Call Random stuff. I also got Charlie Kirk stuff that I think you'll enjoy.